republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Greetings, everyone. Call to order. Robert May's here. Michael Fritz is here. Greg Zawallin's here. Allison's here. Susan's here. Dave Eggert's here. Steve Geibel here. Barry is not here. We wish good wishes to the mayor who's not feeling well again. Ty, Borough Engineer's here. Michael Reverend is here. Warren Lubenow here. Instead of Joan, we have, I'm sorry,
Colin McFarland.
Colin. And Derek Rhodes is here. Okay, before you have our minutes from our the last meeting in March 9th, 2023. Is there any additions, corrections, modifications? Could the minutes be accepted as presented?
I'll move we accept the minutes as presented. Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Approval of payment of bills. Before you, you see expenditures for as of April 11th. From the general fund, we have $94,358.91. Sewer fund is $15,551.63. Fire tax fund, $6,245.47. Liquid fuels fund, $20.
No, it's reversed.
What? Fire tax is $20.
And liquid fuels.
And liquid fuels is $6,245.47. My next question was, what the hell did we spend $40 on? So anyway.
We spent $20 reimbursing the borough for collecting the exonerated tax collector exonerated fire.
Is there any questions about payments submitted for ratification approval? Can the payment of bills as presented be approved?
Motion to approve payment of bills as presented.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to pay the bills as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Approval of treasurer's report. Okay, before you see fund balances for general fund, $491,324.11. Reserve account, $107,036.63. Fire tax fund, $12,143.75. Sewer fund, $125,499.51. Liquid fuels, $272,195.46. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented. File forward.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to approve the treasurer's report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Presentation? Not yet. Public comment? No from the public, no comments in from the internet. We'll move on. Borough Engineer.
Most of my items are on the agenda, so if you have any questions on my report, I'll just put it through those comments.
We have a motion to authorize SDE to.
How about go up one line?
Motion to waive the requirement for land development in ordinance 427, section 523.11.c as condition of use for PBJ Gourmet at 3300 Old Turnpike Road.
Yeah.
And we're waiving land development because there's really no
land,
no subdivision, no land development issues.
Right.
Yeah, everything that's going on in the site is inside the building.
Okay. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion been moved seconded to waive land development for PBJ Gourmet. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passes. Motion to authorize SDE to write the following descriptions. All details required to vacate Funk Street from Pine Avenue to vacated Klein Avenue. This is all that section of street that we don't really have. It's on paper, and we're trying to make it sort of like a.
There's no reason to
happen.
keep that portion. And then.
Second thing is to open Funk Street up from Pine Avenue to Jacksonville Avenue. Is that going to involve any road building or anything then?
That is the preliminaries for the grant that we want to submit to
And that's explained further in Roadmaster's
yes,
report. Okay.
somewhere.
Or he'll be asking about it. Is there a motion to authorize SDE for those following two descriptions?
So moved. Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes.
I don't know if it matters, but the name of the company is TBJ.
Oh, that was.
Sorry,
That's okay, I just didn't know if it made a difference, but it's T as in Tom, right?
Sorry.
could we have a motion to waive the requirement for land development for TBJ Gourmet?
So moved. Second.
Second, so we're correcting the one motion for TBJ, Tom Baker Joseph Gourmet at Holy Turnpike. All those in favor to waive the requirement for land development, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes.
TBJ did a good one.
Colin, anything to report for solicitor?
Nothing to report.
We need to have Joe give you like a big stack of things.
So you don't have a copy of the ordinance on the hunting and stuff?
To tell you the truth, I didn't get to it,
Oh, okay.
to get it, to print out, to get everybody, probably I'll email it. We had an issue with the website and back and forth with updating it.
Yeah, okay. You got plenty of time.
So it's, movement is on there, so. Mayor did not leave a report, I guess,
He did not.
and we still want to wish him well.
The police report is there.
Okay. Anything from Borough Zoning Code Enforcement to report?
There isn't anything that we talked about code enforcement, no.
Got it. Public Works, Safety, Sewers, etc.
Well, I guess I'll start you off on the update. PennDOT plans on finishing milling St. Lawrence Avenue this week. They're doing base repair next week and moving into paving at the end of that week and the following week. So they should be done paving in the next 2 weeks.
And this is like a 4 month ahead of schedule than what they originally told us.
So they had anticipated being done May 1st. They were requested and got an extension for the end of May, but it looks like they're gonna be finishing up by May 1st.
Yeah.
Are all the curb cuts gonna be
Yeah.
done and stuff?
All the curb cuts are done. They're just finishing up the ramps for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, but that will all be done prior to the paving.
So the curbing, they make sure the curbing is like when millings, then the
Yeah.
ramps are behind the curbs, that can get done. after
Oh,
the
yeah.
paving.
That's basically the ramp itself, but the curb is all
Curbs
done.
all done.
So, okay.
The curb will be there for them to pave against.
Yes.
Behind the curb will be the ramp, and then they'll be able to work on that independent.
Yeah. And then the second update in that, which is actually in relation to Funk Street, I met with Dean Miller from the Conservation District in regards to the low volume road and dirt grant funding that the county has. And this plays into getting Funk Street opened. We are eligible for a grant possibly to put in Funk Street from the Pine Avenue down to Jacksonville Avenue because of low volume grant funding that's available. Now the grant kind of builds into green infrastructure. So when we put Funk Street in, we would want to focus on putting in like stormwater retention, bioswales, green swales, those kind of things. And that puts us higher up in the eligibility for that funding for the Long Road.
Which we would want to do anyway, because the whole idea of putting this in is to deal with stormwater coming off the.
So essentially Berks County Conservation District, they're high on the stormwater management. That's why they'll help guide you to get the grant money.
Sure.
But at some point, we may even decide that we may not maintain that road in winter, perhaps.
Well, that was something you had discussed. Bob had said about putting in like pervious paving, so essentially put down grading and you can allow water to go through that. Now, wintertime, I'm not sure how you'd be able to maintain such a thing, so you could end up making that like a winter impasse road where you could close it from date to date.
But that may be in violation of the spirit of Berks Conservation District because there's no real stormwater swales and things like that. Because the water's going straight down. So I think we may just ask for clarification of permeable pavers are part of that, but I'm guessing the answer is no.
You
So,
also don't have a turnaround spot unless you pull into somebody new's driveway.
By using impervious, pervious pavement, you run the risk of the pavement breaking down with high, heavy trucks and things like that.
yeah,
And you can't use salt or anything like that on the pavement.
yeah. I was thinking more that, there was just an idea, but in retrospect, it's probably just easier to build it to a normal type of road, not made for heavy use, It could sustain the weight of a fire truck, but not, up and down every day, so to speak. So. All right, anything else?
That's about it.
Got it.
Everything else is in the report. If you have any questions.
Anything on finance? Anything on management? Anything on emergency management? Sorry.
Nothing new.
Anything on the library?
Yes,
Wow.
the
I
executive.
can't hardly wait.
The executive director, Mallory Hoffman, has resigned to take another position after having been in various positions in the library for over 20 years. So
Wow.
we're in the process, we have 2 resumes, we're in the process of looking at vetting resumes and either hiring somebody temporarily to get a permanent position or going ahead and hiring somebody permanently. Her last day is May 13th. Which is Library Day. He's partnering that.
Outstanding. Anything on municipal lands?
Yeah, real quickly, throw the photograph on.
High tech.
Yeah, go like that.
Yeah.
There is, that's a piece of trail which is up above Bill Stillman's property, way back in the woods. Where when I was back there, about a month ago, you could see how the guy could ride. Has cleared, it
Yeah.
cleared it.
That tree fell over.
Oh, there were multiple trees. There
Yeah.
were a double tree, and then one tree in the opposite direction. There were actually 3 trees across the trail. I mean, these are trees about that big. They went up there, took care of it without being told about it, badgered about it, saw it, maintained it, doing what.
Awesome citizen spirit.
What we asked them to do. Now, my assumption is they have signed the liability agreement.
Don't ask questions you don't know the answer to.
We can say.
Question.
Okay, all right. All right, so we do have 2 of them.
I have 2, I didn't bring over.
Okay, so, good job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we ought to give them some, recognition.
So they gonna haul those trees out of there, or that become like
Oh,
wildlife?
that's way back. They're just they just cleared the trail for fire trail.
Yeah, I'm thinking, chain on that and drive downhill, it's gonna fall in there,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
But, they're doing exactly what we asked them to do. That's good stuff.
Please note that in our minutes, and include that picture, as an insert on that, so. The recreation, how was the Easter egg?
Easter egg hunt was a huge success. We had very nice weather, other than a little windy, and it was blowing the eggs across the tennis court and chase them across the fence. We had to chase them, but we had close to about 100.
100 participants, how many eggs, how many eggs did you?
1,200?
150 eggs.
Handed out, bring back,
Handed out about 95 bags of candy from the Easter Bunny, handed out 95 bags.
Outstanding.
It was beautiful weather, so we have.
yeah, we actually had, how many 11 and olders who.
You were even getting the older kids who know, doesn't egg hunt.
What'd you have in there, like, video games or something?
No, it's okay.
They can do it. So.
Yeah.
We probably had about 20 kids in that age group, which we not really, we used to get like 4, then it was like 10, now it's up to like.
So you had those like on top of the pavilion roof or something?
Don't give them any ideas.
Planning Commission, letter from the Planning Commission recommending the adoption of the small wireless communication ordinance. Copy provided for council for review and discussion in May.
Yes, because Joan has to get the copy too, she hasn't seen it.
No problem.
So it is,
It's been included in here.
it is. It's
I'm telling you.
Next thing.
Back of yours.
Great. Zoning hearing board meeting on May 2nd for 494 Parkview Road. Is that correct? Outstanding. Anything from general comments? Hearing none. Public meeting announcements. All public meetings at St. Lawrence Borough Hall. Council meeting May 11th at 7:30 p.m. Reminder, statements of financial interest due by May 1st for all those who were elected last year. Old business, table your establishment of the Exeter Township Fire Advisory Board. I guess they fired that back up?
Yes, and you can go to the website if you're an interested party. You have to submit a letter of interest in a resident. But go on their website for instructions how to do that.
well, even if you wanted to drop it off of there, we have to get it out of being tabled, so it's the motion to untable it. And then it just becomes active old business.
Oh, so does anybody on council like to volunteer to be on that? Couple, maybe.
We had, I had a borough resident approach me about,
Being on that.
being interested. I believe he went to the website and submitted, Kenny Howe.
Oh, yeah.
And, longtime firefighter. And,
Yeah.
very knowledgeable.
So you're looking for a motion to untable this
Just to untable it.
and put it on all business, correct?
Yes,
I'll make a motion to untable the Exeter Township Fire Advisory Board. Return to old business.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to untable the establishment status of the Exeter Township Fire Advisory Board discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passed. New business motion to appoint Barry Kinsley to a 5-year term on the planning commission from April 1st, 2023 to April 1st, 2028.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to appoint Barry Kinsey to that planning commission. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Discussion motion to authorize Borough Solicitor to prepare an ordinance to vacate Front Street from Pine Avenue to Klein Avenue in all uses.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to authorize the Borough Solicitor. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passed. Discussion and motion for authorizing the advertisement of the ordinance to vacate Funk Street from Pine Avenue to Klein Avenue.
Make a motion, we authorize the borough manager to advertise the ordinance to vacate Bunk Street from Pine Avenue to Klein Avenue,
Which is vacated.
which is vacant.
Which is vacated.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to authorize the advertisement of the ordinance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Discussion and motion to authorize the Borough Solicitor refer an ordinance to open Funk
yeah,
from the vacated portion at Pine to Jacksonville.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to authorize the solicitor to prepare an ordinance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passed. Final item discussion motion under new business. Authorize the borough solicitor to prepare an ordinance to ordain Funk Street from the vacated portion at Pine Avenue to Jackson.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to authorize the borough solicitor to prepare an ordinance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passed.
did we miss anything that we needed to do, all of that? Okay.
So, according to our agenda, we will actually have adjourn our meeting right now for a conditional use hearing.
You recess it,
Okay, we'll recess the meeting.
because if we make a decision, we would have to make.
Still some of the time with, Mike and I were at the joint planning.
Oh, yeah, how'd that go?
It was very interesting. It's very good. I don't know, if Mike, you want to have any comments about it or?
I guess there's a almost 20-year-old agreement between St. Lawrence Borough, Exeter Township, and Amity.
Joint comp plan.
Yeah, joint complaint.
To what degree or benefit we've had with that over the years, I'm not sure. We all have the same struggles. I was very impressed with the Berks County Planning Commission, David Hunter, and we don't bring a whole lot to the table, but we were at the table. And I think moving forward, if they can develop some sort of a continuity and continue maybe quarterly or bi-yearly meetings and stuff like that. When you look at our neighbors to the west, with whatever intentions are happening, may happen over there, as far as the possible merger, there actually was some talk about maybe trying the school district merger again, because you have one that's in very bad shape. And but the point is, I think it's something. I think it has some value to it, depending on where it goes. And you know, we're on a kind of stuff. We're like the hole of the donut over here when we look at the map, and we have very little room for growth. But again, that doesn't mean you can't draw ideas or just support from your neighbors and your neighboring municipalities.
One of the things you also get by having a joint plan like this is the ordinances, zoning ordinances that different municipalities change. You get a chance to get a copy of it and comment on it.
Comment on, it, yeah.
Not that you can change anything,
Right.
but you can comment on it.
Yeah, I think last time when we were in that joint, planning, it was more of an advantageous to bring us in to make it more joint to the other ones than, our substantial needs or whatever, so.
And there was even, Douglas Township is considering looking to join it.
Well, actually, they said they were opting in.
They were
The
on.
gentleman said that we're in, you know, so it's new to them, as it may be even new to us, even though that arrangement.
Was there any discussion of the cost, like how much would it cost to update the plan, how the cost would be allocated, anything like that?
We didn't have any. If.
This was all introductory.
About going forward,
Yeah.
you look into that. But there are several interesting maps
Yeah.
that show all, I brought them along, I can leave them here. But.
Can you just scan those, Susan, and just send them out an email, that way if you want to look at them, you can.
Yeah, it shows where's potential development in the future, where is,
Where the wind farms are gonna go, where all the solar panels are gonna be installed.
All the homes over the stadium when they sell, you know,
yeah,
that idea was floated. And of course, the big ticket item, as we know, is happening at 5 o'clock tonight over, at the country club with the townhomes or whatever they want to build over there.
Oh, yeah, on the other side, yeah.
More tomato corn.
I'm saying it,
all right, so I'll leave this packet with everything.
Yeah.
The maps are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
so we're gonna,
Because I think if you make a decision right away, you can do it at, so.
okay,
So you're gonna you vote to recess.
okay, so we need a vote to recess to have our conditional use hearing.
Make a motion to recess the monthly meeting for a conditional use hearing.
Most, been presented to recess for a conditional use hearing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Outstanding.
Thanks. I guess you have to make the motion to open the hearing. Are you
No.
okay? Not yet? Is it, it's not yet?
No,
Are we waiting 10 minutes?
That's only.
no. Are we supposed to?
Oh, yeah. That's
That's
one we did. You know, when things are in red, I don't know, you see that.
You want to buy? Oh. Yeah, I think, so we'll call our conditional use hearing to order. Right.
Hey. Good evening, everyone. My name is Colin McFarland. I was off telephoning for Joe Mullen tonight. This is the date, time, and place for the conditional use application hearing. It was submitted by Mr. Dorshewski. Yeah, very good. The application requests approval to use 3300 Ole Turnpike Road for light manufacturing. That property is in the C10 zoning district. Specifically, the applicant proposes to use that property for food processing facility to produce bacon, jam, and other sort of products. The applicant has the burden of proof of showing that he is entitled to a conditional use under section 913.2 of the municipality's planning code, which is a use by right subject to reasonable regulations. Notably, the borough's planning commission did recommend granting this conditional use application. Before tonight's hearing begins, I do have a few administrative matters to address. First, I want to briefly outline the procedure for tonight's hearing. First, the applicant will present his evidence through testimony and exhibits, if any, to the extent that his testimony elicits any questions of the borough council or its officials, they will be permitted. Tonight's hearing is being transcribed, so please speak slowly and thoroughly. Second, I did notice that there's one resident here tonight. Would you like to participate in tonight's hearing, sir?
If need be, yes.
Okay, so you have two ways to participate. Your first way is as a party. Participating as a party gives you the right to ask questions of the applicant, present your own evidence, and have standing to appeal should you disagree with this decision or any conditions of it. The second way to participate is simply as a member of or a resident of the township, or excuse me, borough, who can make a public comment on the application after the applicant's presentation has concluded. Would you like to simply make a public comment, or would you like to be joined as a party? if you are joining the party, you need to show that you have standing, which is a substantial, direct, and immediate interest in how this property is being used.
Option two.
Okay, so you'll offer public comment when the applicant's evidence is finished being presented tonight?
If I have questions, yes.
Okay. Finally, I do need to enter some exhibits of record before we begin accepting evidence. So the first exhibit of the borough is the application for the conditional use approval submitted by the applicant. Exhibit number 2 of the borough is the public hearing notice. Exhibit number 3 of the borough is the proof of publication of the public hearing notice in the Reading Eagle. Exhibit number 4 of the borough is the affidavit of posting of the public hearing notice at this borough hall. Exhibit number 5 of the borough is the affidavit of posting of the public hearing notice at the subject property. Exhibit number 6 of the borough is the affidavit of mailing the public hearing notice to any and all interested parties and property owners as required by the borough zoning ordinance. And exhibit number 7, which is not included in my exhibit book, is the borough's zoning ordinance. Before those exhibits are entered into the record, would you like to inspect them? And let the record reflect that the applicant is not requesting to inspect the exhibits, and they will be entered of record in this hearing. So with all that being said, I'd like the applicant to now make his presentation after being sworn. Would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I did.
Okay. Please present your testimony.
Thank you. My name is Mark Gorszewski. I am the co-founder and chief executive officer of TBJ Gourmet. We're a specialty food brand that makes savory and spreads, condiments, and sauces from upcycled ingredients, namely our trend-setting and nationally distributed bacon jam, which is a spreadable bacon made from upcycled bacon. So the cuts of the bacon that aren't pretty enough to go in the package, but still taste delicious. We take them from local suppliers like Hatfield, Fayette Martin, and turn them into a spread that people put on burgers, sandwiches, charcuterie boards. Started the firm in 2013 out of a restaurant in Conshohocken, and quickly started selling more bacon jam than I was selling food at the restaurant. So sold the restaurant and started doing this full time. Up until this time, our products have been manufactured by co-manufacturers. So I give them a recipe to someone and pay them for a finished product. This has constrained the business, and also, it's just fun not having a 9 to 5 remote 3 or 4 employees, and we'd like to get back into expanding through manufacturing. So in that, we identified 33 Old Turnpike Road, owned by Scott Landis, and as a very good location for us. And I moved my family up here to Berks County from Delaware County because it felt this was a good area to do that. Not going to change anything with the building. Essentially, what the plan is to build a small food manufacturing, so kitchen that wouldn't be too much different than a catering kitchen, except instead of big commercial ranges, we'll have kettles, big pots that are standalone. We'll put onions, bacon, vinegar in them and stir them up and pump it into a filling machine, not much bigger than this table, that glass jars will come down, get filled, and then go out. We'll literally put on from a steam capper to sterilize the top, and will be cooled off in a cooling tunnel, and they'll be packed off. We would then store finished goods there for a week or 2, most, and then ship them out to our customers. Our customers are primarily distributors, such as KD, Cisco Foods, US Foods. We do some e-commerce and direct consumer sales, but none of the direct consumer could be done out of the building. And most of the products that leave every other day on a truck. So FedEx would send a truck and pick up bulk order, or KD once a month will come by and pick up a load, but not high traffic. We plan to put in 1,000-gallon 2-compartment grease trap system, the same that you would have in every
commercial kitchen, or a restaurant will produce less grease than a fast food restaurant, or even probably that I did at a local restaurant, because we're not frying anything. And, other than that, I think that's it. And we'll put a dumpster outside, but we're primarily what comes in to the facility, the exception of packaging like cardboard, that is going to go in the kettles. And my job is to make sure that all of it gets into a jar. I don't want to have waste. So, yeah, that's the plan. And I think that's everything. We can, if you want to see it and present too much, because I have a layout of the line, if I was interested in saying it. That's the building interior as it stands. And this is a line, a different building, similar size, but you can sort of see where we start down at the bottom there, where there's a little man or woman at an accumulation table taking glass jars from the top to the very bottom, and sort of the jars then make their journey down the line and they come out at the end. We're going to start off with 3 or so employees for the production and warehousing, and I'll bring my current team of 3 people to the area as well. We'll both relocate, one from Boston, one from New Jersey. Can't promise they'll be the St. Lawrence Borough, but in the surrounding area. And the finished goods we packed off, everything's shelf stable. We don't make anything that's perishable. So our products are and everything we plan to make on this line, which can do essentially jellies, jams, pasta sauce, pesto, anything that you would put into a glass jar that's stay on the shelf and not need refrigeration. Is the plan. The refrigeration will be primarily for ingredient that comes in either frozen or refrigerated fresh, and then needs to be slacked out in a refrigerator, meaning thawed, and then used forthwith.
Would you like to enter that exhibit of record?
The plan there?
Yes.
So I'm not for council. Should I enter it?
Yes.
That plan's not
Yes, you can.
exact.
You can enter that exhibit of record.
Yeah, I'd like to exhibit that as the record, or enter that exhibit in the record.
Okay, so that will be marked as applicant's exhibit number 1.
I've also engaged a reputable contractor in the area who is competent in commercial mechanics, plumbing, HVAC, justice.
So I do have a couple brief questions for you. Will you be a tenant of this property?
No, I'm sorry, the objective is to purchase.
Okay. Do you have an agreement to sell right now? Or
We have an agreement to sell as not executed, it's not negotiated.
so you do have an equitable interest in this property, right?
Yes.
Okay. What are the proposed hours of operation for the site?
6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4 p.m. So this would be kind of a product, USDA, which is the federal body that governs meat and dairy. It would regulate when we're cooking bacon jam because there's more than 2% meat in it, which having known a startup company probably would just take a bacon jar out with less than 2% because my competitors don't have USDA hurdles. But regardless, their hours dictate the bacon jam. But the early morning stuff would be 2 people coming in and batching, weighing out ingredients and whatnot. And then for production of other products, we would probably run similar just to keep things nice, easy. But yeah, there's no plan for late night bacon festivals. Darn.
Do you expect that the site will produce any type of odor?
We're hoping.
So any type of odor that would do that, it would be, I expect to be negligible or similar to, again, our restaurants would be close, but we don't have a fryer. We just what puts out most of the smell in the restaurant. Like if you're driving by a fast food place, that's what you smell. There's going to be exhaust from our kettles and the air above it, but the kettles are contained. We do open them, put ingredient in or take measurements of pH and Berks, which is a measure of solids and liquids for sugar. Which is one of our control points. But it's not, when we go to our plants that currently produce the product, there's not much odor outside.
To the extent that there is an order, is there any way to reduce it?
I mean, it's going to be go through an exhaust system, so there's baffles there.
Will your production line be taking up the entire building?
No, sir. The production line will be about 1/3 of the space. We'll have a very small office. So the production line would be to the far left of this diagram. And the cooking space would be in the far left compartment as well, to the north side. The line would end through that demising wall that separates the left third from the center, and then the rest would be storage.
So one third production, 2/3 storage.
Storage, and then pick, pack, and fill. So there's also for e-commerce, there's a need to take a variety of items and take them off of their palletized form and turn them into bundles, 3 packs, 2 packs.
Does Borough Council have any questions for you?
You want to start that one? Dave, you have any question?
The process. Has been reached,
Yes, sir.
and where does that go? Maybe
Into the jar.
everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. The grease trap
Yes,
would be for the grease that would accumulate in the grease trap would be from washdown, not from, we're not rendering the bacon and then taking all the fat and clutching it there. That goes into the jar. So what's left wouldn't even be similar to the grease in the pan when you cook bacon, because we have all the other ingredients. It's all getting pumped out into the jar, and during washdown, it would flow through a grease trap. That would be again similar to a commercial restaurant or a large commercial restaurant. It's 1,000 gallon bags. And then we would have a test pit in that to sort of make sure that's operating properly, and then that gets pumped.
Reverend, you want to just come this way, like a wave?
On that property, there's other buildings, you're purchasing the entire property, I assume, all the buildings.
That is the intent, sir, yes.
Do you have any intent to use those other buildings in any way?
So currently, my business plan calls for keeping the current tenant in the second building, and which is half of that building is rented, and the half that's vacant, we would either use as auxiliary storage or packaging, so just glass jars, our plastic tubs that we use for food service, or labels, cardboard boxes and such. My business plan doesn't call for renting it out. If we did, it would be whatever is by right use. The intent is to grow into all the space and have the second building be overflow storage. The supply chains, the way they are, have been since the lockdowns. One of the issues that we've had, one of the new businesses is I buy entire container loads of packaging from either South Korea or of course it's China, and I have to buy them for the whole year because I can't get glass domestically. I couldn't get glass domestically in any type of quantity of multiple tractor trailer goods. So having the other building for storage down the road as we grow is probably visible, but we don't foresee growing the process line much. The equipment we're getting is, I had to ask, how slow can it go for our current needs? How fast it can go, so we can be fairly competitive with the line as is. As we grow, we're just more for storage.
The kettles used to process for these steam.
Yes, sir. Steam jacket, that was.
Will that require, so the steam kettle won't require an answer system then?
No, there's no open flames. No, and the building is sprinklered. Currently. But no, there's no open flame. There's
Right.
no.
Yeah, it's not like at a restaurant cook line where you require the answer system. Okay. All right.
Pass, you can come back.
That's it.
We had a comment from our engineering firm that does our sanitary sewer and things like that, and they mentioned that it would probably behoove us initially to ask for verification that the oil water, the separator, grease separator trap would be cleaned out every 6 months. If you just email us, a manifest or a paid invoice, because whatever service that was, and you could redact costs and things like that. All we're looking for is part of that is because we have an agreement with PA American for discharging wastewater. We own all our collection pipes here, but we then have an agreement with them that everything goes down to the treatment plant. So everything that's, restaurants and other places essentially have to follow under some sort of sampling and things like that. And we may have to have some sort of initial sample for you guys. And then maybe a year later, all that. And I can't even remember the last time we did this because we haven't done it yet for our new PA American contract, but everything just keeps getting tighter and tighter. Sooner or later, they will realize they haven't asked us yet. So and typically what we'll do is we'll hire a third-party lab. They come out with like a 24-hour sampler. It's like a small 30-gallon garbage can, and every hour it takes a sample to composite it, and then it gets sent off to the lab. So that's typically the process for something like that. So it's usually out at the clean out, the first clean out from the building, they drop a tube down, and that's how it all gets done. So I'm just sort of giving you that. And we would probably have to send some sort of notification to you when that was going to occur and how that all goes about. So then I had a question. Are all the refrigeration units, are they ammonia type, or do have you spec'd all those out yet?
I've not. I'm just a humble cook. It's the engineer to give us the.
I know a lot of sub-processing places, because they're so big, you have to, sometimes it's ammonia based versus, refrigerant based. So I'm just.
So making the assumption that having, been in a facility that currently produce our products that are much larger than this plant facility, and their compressors look like the same. I don't know if the compressor looks different, but they look like refrigerant compressors.
And I don't know if that's more important for our companies or not.
Yeah, that's a consideration as far as hazmat, but with the size they're looking at, I doubt that they're ammonia. Yeah, so that's it. It's only a concern if there's a leak.
Yeah.
But the advantage is ammonia is heavier than air, so it's gonna head down by the creek anyways.
Do you produce any private label products for anybody? Yeah, so that's fine.
Not current.
Yeah, but that's an intent, and that's fine. I'm just curious.
So currently, Weiss Market and Giant. Is it can I?
You don't have to disclose, who.
Don't disclose any trade secrets.
Yeah.
We have
There's always potentials.
Yeah, we have regional and super regional customers who would like their own baking jam and other products. I think that localism is going to become more of a trend as supply chain gets more expensive. So one of the ideas is to be kind of a producer for localism for our own brand, private label, and my eventual goal is to use products for other companies, startups. One of the challenges that we had coming in, we were very fortunate to get into QVC early because of proximity to Westchester, and it's been something pretty cool. And we just ran into a guy and used some of those, and said, "Yes, I want to do TV," and that's sure. But that allowed us to get into a larger co-packer that brought down our cost of goods, and they don't run into really a lot of smaller companies. But I see, what I'd like to do if I can sell my brand and continue to operate this facility is to be a co-packer for smaller local brands that want to get into, pack their products, but can't get to one of those bigger co-packers. And the co-packers are all getting bought by private equity, so there's not a lot of space if you want to go produce something if you're starting out.
I'm good. Mike?
I'm just gonna make an assumption with your process from the beginning of the day, the cooking, the packaging, the storing, the shipping. It's not a loud process. It's not developing a lot of off-property noise or anything like that.
No, I can't imagine. I've never heard anything outside of the facilities other than the the exhaust there. Which,
Sure.
It sounds like anyone can
Right.
very similar. Even inside, with this line, there's no recommendation for ear protection or anything like that for employees from, I don't have the exact decibel, of the machinery, but there's not. It's not like we're running, even like it's light manufacturing, so
Sure.
a stretch for the term, it's essentially glorified catering. But yeah.
It's good.
Can you expand upon the truck trafficking, like
Sure.
how much vehicle traffic do you expect to see, what size of vehicles, including the hope that you expand
Sure.
as you grow, like would we be seeing increased volume?
Sure. So, I'll tell you the current and the expansion. So currently, we'll probably have a pickup, once or twice a week at most once a week from a tractor trailer. And then from the larger FedEx box truck, would be every other day, or USPS, like their larger, vehicle. As we expand, the traffic for the larger trucks stays relatively the same. So currently, our distributors backhaul, so they come, they pick up 1 or 2 pallets from us. As we expand, they don't send a truck more often, they just pick up more. And until we get to shipping out entire tractor trailer loads, which we have done, but it's not, it's at a load. When we first got our first order from Walmart to go to all stores, that was a tractor trailer load where they came in, but it was still one truck. There was one truck that takes 40 pounds instead of 2. It was a good day for us, but for the traffic, it doesn't change. Additionally, as we grow, the intent is to use redistribution. So these would be distributors that distribute to distributors for things that are not commodity items like tomato sauce or bread or things that people, or milk that people are buying lots of every day. Some you might think that people need bacon gym every day, but it's not. We use that frequently. So we would then send the product out to the redistributor shop that they would warehouse. There's 5 warehouses across the country, and then disperse that to the 41. Which is sort of what we already do with K. They had 8 warehouses. It would go to 2 warehouses with their redistributor when we reach that level. So I don't anticipate increases in truck traffic.
So Greg, were you thinking like the truck gets parked there and you like fill it up completely? I mean, or is it just like truck comes, you fill it, truck leaves? There's more trips versus stagnant trailers being stationed there, and then once a week it gets swapped out, the full one goes out and empty comes in.
No, everything would be, the driver does not, we're not dropping tractor trailers.
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks.
Bye. Our borough engineer.
The only thing that I'd like to have added to it as one of the conditions is that the sewer connection be approved by the sewer engineer.
Are you agreeable to that condition?
And they essentially have made that statement with the having the pump out of the grease every 6 months, proof of that. And which,
I think the connection.
oh, you mean the connection itself?
Yeah, I'm talking about the
It's gonna be a
installation
permit.
follows the
Yeah,
the rules and regulations.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
that yours would be condition number 1, mine would be condition number 2.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to think I don't see any issue on how they would prove it or not. There was an existing lateral into our main.
yes, but what we have to make sure is that the grease interceptor is separate from the domestic waste.
Okay. You understand? You're like, so.
Scott understands.
The guy who needs to understand it says that.
I just have a couple of follow-up questions. Will you allow access to the property to the extent that the borough needs to test the wastewater coming to the property. We discussed it a couple minutes ago.
That's a condition anyway.
How long does it typically take to load the trucks in your products?
15 minutes. Unloading can be longer, as I said, when we were buying a complete container of glass. So that
Excuse me,
at 15 minutes.
no,
Unloading could potentially be longer when we're getting our year's supply of glass, or we start to buy, even if that becomes 2 trucks, then it's 2 trucks, a truck twice a year. And that would be, I don't know, I've never unloaded a full container.
But you're anticipating the driver would never leave the facility separate, where the truck comes, you unload, driver drive away.
No, that's not.
Having some shipping and receiving experience, a 53-foot trailer load of jars would probably take you, because you have to be careful, obviously, probably about 2.5 hours.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you intend to let those trucks come on the property during normal business hours from 9 to 5?
Yeah, so typically the deliveries would be in the AM, starting around 9, and the outgoing shipments are done by 3. Everybody needs to be packed to where they're going, which is not terribly close. So, for in the AM, I don't see anything.
I don't know. I don't think that much here.
yeah.
So,
The applicant's testimony listed any other questions of the council members?
I guess maybe a comparison. When the previous use of that facility several years ago being used as storage or distribution center, there was a lot of truck traffic. Would your anticipation be that this traffic would be more than or less than that? How would you?
I don't know.
Well, maybe if Scott could answer, he probably.
I mean, from what I know exactly what you're talking about, there's a lot of trucks and trailers and they're in and out of there. But from what I've learned with Michael, it's gonna be maybe a quarter of that when he's up and running, full capacity. But at the beginning, from what I've learned, it's gonna be minimal.
This was the rental.
No, it's custom processing. They use this for overflow from their factory down in where Boston's distribution center is. That's where they work.
any other questions?
Excuse me, can you give your name?
Scott Landis,
Yeah, I asked.
DIS.
I think council's good.
Sir, do you have any questions for the applicant? Just before you ask questions, can you please identify yourself?
Gene Becker, the 332 Park Street.
And even though he's not a party, do you be willing to answer questions of this resident? Okay.
I was just curious, if everything goes through, how long a process do you actually in operation?
We'd like to be running by January 1st next year. If we take this as an ability, we would move our logistics there. There would be some. Oh, I'm sorry. So we would like to have the processing line up and running in early next year. We would move our warehousing and logistics there right away. So the truck traffic would be half or less because we're not bringing any packaging in, and a lot of our larger orders would ship right from our current packer. And as far as any of the other questions about noise or development that would occur into the process, not that there's going to be smell or noise, and the grease, or the effluent wouldn't change into the processing line. So
When do you expect the processing to commence?
I would like
January as well? Sir, do you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
Do you wish to make any other public comment or state your opinion on this application?
No.
Thank you. All right, well, at this point, I think the applicant doesn't have any other testimony to present. Would the Borough Council like to recess to deliberate or deliberate publicly?
We can deliberate. Yeah, deliberate. Is there any other questions, council? I think we're ready to motion. So, is there such a motion? The great conditional use on,
I'll make a motion to grant conditional use for the property at 3300 Old Turnpike Road, based on the conditions of the
sewer
sewer
sampling.
sampling and the review of the grease trap installation.
Lateral connection.
Lateral connection by our sewer engineer.
I do have a couple of brief standard conditions that I would like to read as well.
Sure.
So, standard conditions are as follows, in addition to the two just mentioned. First, the applicants are bound by and shall comply with all testimony and evidence presented at the hearing tonight. Second, the applicants shall comply with all requirements and regulations of the zoning ordinance and all other borough ordinances, state, federal laws, and rules and regulations. Third, the applicants shall use, develop, and maintain the property in compliance with all applicable laws. Fourth, the applicant shall apply for and obtain, to the extent necessary, in all permits and approvals by relevant government entities. Fifth, the applicants shall not expand or otherwise alter the property without requisite approval. Fifth, failure to comply with any of the conditions that I stated or that the council has stated will result in this relief being overturned. And finally, this decision and all terms and conditions shall be binding upon you and your successors and sons. So, with that being said,
Any comment on those additional conditions?
Sounds good.
Your motion?
So moved.
Motion been moved, seconded to grant conditional use based on the conditions stated in the record. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Best of luck.
just one other administrative note, we are required to issue a written decision within 45 days, so you should be expecting that in the near future. To the extent that you disagree with anything, you have 30 days to appeal after that, but I don't expect it to happen. Okay?
All right.
With that, the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you.
So you're in.
Yeah, so.
Sure. A big day.
Yeah. We're gonna take about a 3-minute recess and I'm gonna open our meeting back up again for an executive session. I don't know if we'll have any actions after the executive session. But, we're gonna discuss the potential
I'm out.
well,
I gave them all.
no.
Yes,
We can still make it publicly, it's a perhaps personnel decisions and other land and acquisitions and
I'll make a
stuff.
motion, we go to the executive session to discuss personnel issues.
Sure. Aye. Aye, opposed, and we'll wait about 3 minutes and we'll do that. I don't Those second, adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Thanks so much for your time. Sorry for all this extravagant stuff. I mean, I can't dream up making